Fortress and the thriving metropolis of Fulltown. Hope you guys are doing well. Have been a little busy, but not busy enough to not visit my favorite Dwarven Fortress, Fulltown. If I recall correctly, last episode, quite a bit happened, and a few issues that were persisting through the first episode were addressed in the second, and now in episode 3, this episode, we're going to follow through on a few things. I really want to work on this Dwarven Tavern and do a few other things, including maybe check out the caverns down below the fortress. I'm a little intrigued. There is a great chance that there will be more caverns than just this one, but I'm not sure. It kind of depends on your fortress. But first things first. The end of last episode, a human caravan arrived, and I have yet to trade with them, though it looks like I sent my broker Kumel, which I don't know if I've been saying any of these dwarves' names right. For some reason, Kumel, I think it's Kumil. I don't know why. This is just classic dyslexia. You kind of, you're like paranoid at all times that you're mispronouncing things, and truthfully, with dyslexia, you tend to be mispronouncing things. Anyways, we got Kumil here, and it looks like I have brought everything I needed, so we can just start with a little tradey with these fine gentlemen. The humans. I talked a little bit last episode, but I'll reiterate. Humans bring a lot of different things, and what they bring is dependent on their culture and a bunch of other things. But typically what I've seen is they bring a lot of food, and they bring a lot of cloth, and they bring also, I think, some weapons and stuff. Though I don't think these weapons are particularly great. An iron two-handed sword. I'm not sure if dwarves can use these two-handed swords. I guess I could try. And then there's a water skin. We need water skins for our military. We can also make them. One thing that I would recommend. So in Dwarf Fortress, cloth. So like thread, or cloth, or hide, wherever that is, there it is, hides. They can be kind of a pain to get, or to make, or to manufacture. You can do it very reliably in this game, but still, it can be a little bit of a pain. Once you get into the later stages of your fortress, getting hides actually pretty easy, but in the beginning, you're gonna have to like hunt or be really kind of selective with your slaughtering. And so, I've found that, at least in regards to like my clothing industry, I like to purchase stuff. I don't really want to deal with like manufacturing the raw goods that go into making clothes. I'll just buy them for cheap. And you want to talk about cheap? 60 bucks for a crate full of pretty subpar leather. Like, yeah, sign me up. And admittedly, my economy difficulty set a little lower, so these prices may be a little bit more expensive. And maybe I'll explain why I turned my economy a little lower, but for now, prices are pretty cheap, and so I'm just gonna buy like pretty much everything, because I will almost certainly use all these things. And this is maybe a little expensive. I'm pretty sure I can afford these, so I'll buy them. Why not? And what I'm doing is I'm purchasing the bin that contains the cloth. And so if I purchase the bin, I buy the cloth. Whereas if I just checked individual things, I would be purchasing individual pieces of cloth. There's some barracuda bone earrings. I like the alliteration on that. That's pretty fun. And then some anvils. Why not? And then I'll buy all their meat. Pretty cheap. And I'll buy all their fish. Again, pretty cheap. And look at some of the cool fish. I mean, ratfish, seahorse. These are pretty cool. Glass eyes. A nautilus. This is almost like a Pokemon. And then plants, I'll just buy their plants because there's some. It seems like the plants they're offering me is, it's a lot of these things grow, but if I can buy food and my dwarves don't have to necessarily work for it, then you know, we take that. Also, another thing that the humans will do, because the humans are very inconsiderate and they're kind of like assholes, uh, is that they'll sell you clothing, but the clothing for certain pieces of clothing um, will be labeled as large, and I'm sure as you can figure out, dwarves are not large, and so they cannot wear this large, long sheep wool skirt. They can wear a smaller one, but in Dwarf Fortress, it won't be labeled as small. It just won't be labeled. So a dwarf would be able to like wear a long sheep wool skirt, but not a large. But yeah, and I'm gonna buy the backpack because again, my military needs them. And then I could buy some of this cheese, I guess. It's a really expensive amount of cheese. Let's see if I can afford so far the $6,000 plus some profit before I add any cheese. But I think that I should be able to because some of these gems that I've crafted or carved, uh, cut, they're pretty expensive. These admittedly are not. These are 40 bucks. But these $1,000 ones are really nice. And so far, uh, I'm giving them a 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 profit. And what I'm going to do is just buy cheese until I get a green value. So the trader profit is they're going to be profiting quite a bit, but um, that's fine. So I'm going to press this trade button, boom, and he is ecstatic with the trade. So I'm sure they'll be back. And I'm sure they're gonna be buzzing, and maybe I'll get even more food or other interesting stuff. I've noticed that the traders uh, tend to bring you stuff that you like to buy a lot, but maybe that's me going crazy. Oh, here's a thing. This guy Zas, who's our military commander, he was, and I'm gonna probably give him a better bedroom because right now he just sleeps right here, but he was sleeping in his bed, and that's because Zas, and now he's gonna go to the stockpile and he's gonna drink or eat. Yeah, he's drinking, and then he probably will eat or yeah, he's gonna go train. So never mind. And there you go, he's training. This last episode I set up a barracks and I've set the quicknesses um, of metal to train in this area, but to only train and to do nothing else. And so, as you saw, Zas was sleeping in his house, and then he went over to the stockpile and grabbed some food. And I think this guy's drunk. Looks like he's dizzy. He's drunk probably. Anyway, Zas was he had to do all of his little like domestic chores before he went back to train. And so if you select more of these options where he can sleep and store his stuff, he'll store his food here. That is a really frightening sound, but that's a child being born. We'll get to that. Oh my God! I think the child was born here. Where is it? Right here. It looks like Edsel. Right there. Has given birth to Shorast. Nice. Good focus. Fact-oriented, tolerant. Wow, I did not realize that a lot of the women dwarves in my military were, you know, married and giving and having children. That's cool. I mean, maybe these children will learn from some of these demonstrations uh, that they can maybe they'll learn and they'll get better at fighting, and then when they come of age, I'll just assign them to the military. Um, but I want to for this episode, as I said earlier, I want to do a few things, and one of them is namely the tavern. I think the hijinks that come from having a tavern are like I feel like you kind of have to have a tavern in Dwarf Fortress because it's just too funny. It's way too funny. There's so much. There's so many problems that come from taverns, uh, but they're um, they're so worth it in my opinion. I'm just going through. Wow, I'm going through embarked. Um, embarked. Okay, cool. So if I jump up here. Here, I could show you guys a real quick thing. This is just a quality of life thing. If you go to the top right, there's a hotkey area, and what you can do is you can name like different um, locations to hotkey so that you can quickly zoom to a new spot in your fortress. And so like I'll do like a surface, um, surface spot, and then what you do is you just press this button to set it, and then anytime I want to return to the surface, so say I'm like all the way down here, press F1 and I'm back. And so you can do that for all of yours. So I could also set another one right here, and I can name this main level. I think this is kind of considered my main level, and maybe I'm tired of scrolling all the way down to the caverns, so I will hotkey this spot right here, and I'll cavern. So now, with with quickly, I can bounce between different points in my fortress quite easily. I use them sometimes. I definitely use the hotkeys a lot for jumping down in areas that are really far down. I also just realized wooden barrel. I realized I have no space. 100 barrels maybe is a lot. I'll do 50. So last episode I built this tavernish area, and I also built this area up here, and it's gonna be where I store my food um, for the tavern, or just I guess for the fortress, because I also plan on using the what am I doing right here for food storage for the entire fortress, and I'm gonna do food. And I'm also gonna ban food from here. This is gonna take a lot of time to move the food over, but it will be fine. And then also I like to make like a little entrance for this stockpile. Trying to think about how to design this. I like to make this a little bit of an entrance from the stockpile because uh, I don't want my I want my farmers to be able to like supply this location a little easier without having to do too much. I'm also going to do a diagonal. I don't know. I don't use diagonals all that much. They can look a little awkward. A funny thing to note is a dwarf can technically traverse this. It may not look like that makes sense, but this is technically a diagonal hallway, and they can absolutely go through that. Um, this is a diagonal hallway that looks a little less crazy. It'd be kind of cool to build this off of this side. If I could figure out how to do that. Or just do that. Alright, why not? It's gonna look kind of a little goofy, but I think I would enjoy a little bit of variety. Plus, who knows? Maybe I'll build something interesting here. guess it would kind of make a lot of sense to have the food here, kind of near the stockpile, but we're just gonna call it good. I think I'm pretty low on wood. I am not really, but I think there's going to be a day when I need some more. Can cut some wood down. So that's what we're doing. There's still a lot of items at the stockpile that I purchased. Uh, those should get moved over pretty soon. Once the barrels get a little bit more created, then that will change. And then I am going to, since it's the late summer and it's likely that the dwarves will return from the mountain home, the traders, and it's important to impress those guys because, like I said earlier on in the episodes, they directly influence immigration. And so I need to impress these guys. And I am trying to think right here. So these, the as in locum, as in locum, the livid spears. This is the dwarven civilization. If I hover over them, I can see what deals I have with them, and it currently says that I have agreed to pay a premium on cages. So hopefully they'll bring some interesting creatures in cages, though no guarantees. And if I give them armor and large gems, they will trade. They will give me a premium. So before they arrive, I think it would be smart to maybe make some more iron breastplates and maybe some iron helms. And I'm probably going to maybe do 20 of each and 20 of each. I'm not going to trade them a ton. I'm not really sure how much metal I really do possess. I think I have a pretty decent chunk. Yeah. It looks like I have... Okay. It looks like I have an absolute shitload. That being said, they're really, really important materials, and so I think it's super important that I don't squander it all on trade. I will have many more dwarves enter the military, and not just in the quicknesses of metal, but probably in other future squads. And I'll show you how to split squads up and make more squads effectively, because there is a way to do it. And then another thing I'm gonna do is I have so much. Oh my. Okay. Wow. I really did not realize I had this much metal. Wow. Okay. Um, I was gonna say this is native silver. See, I want to try this stuff. I'm gonna put this in first priority. I want to make a few pieces of jewelry, both for my dwarves, because dwarves really enjoy getting blinged out, and who doesn't? And then also traders will pay quite a bit for um, some really nice looking jewelry. I'm gonna say smelt native silver. And you would think you would write in the material like whatever it is, but it's just silver. We're gonna smelt 100 silver, and then I go to stocks. Stocks is a super important one. I don't have a bookkeeper. It says here you can see every item in the fortress. Click on category headings to collapse and expand them. If you don't have a bookkeeper, they don't have an office to work in, the numbers may be approximate. But what I want to see is how much coke I have. So I approximately have 133 coke. So I'm still making coke. I'm gonna touch this real quick just to reset it, and then I just don't want to run out of fuel ever. And I'm smelting native ore, silver, and then also we're gonna save in forge silver, and then we can just see what silver things we can make, and we can make like silver weapons, which um, all silver weapons are trash with exception of like I think blunt weapons like maces and maces and warhammers. But we're not going to make anything out of that right now. What we're going to do is make toys. Oh yeah, silver toys. Let's make some toys because the children will enjoy that. Plus, you can sell toys for good money. Smelt. Forge. Silver. And then let's make some other things like maybe a amulet. What's the amulet? I thought you could. I'm just gonna type in silver. Maybe I'm in the wrong menu. Silver amulet. Make. So the keyword that was throwing me off was the forge. Amulet. Let's make some amulets. I think silver earring is one of them as well. And then of course, here I'll type make silver. Let's do I think bracelets or yeah bracelets. Why not? And make silver browns. I mean, come on. The dwarves are gonna look so cool. Some funny things I've seen in from personal, like a personal anecdote that I've had in this game, is that I've had dwarves like moving around in previous fortresses that I've had, and they've moved really slowly, and you're like, what the, why is this dwarf like so slow? What's going on with them? And and I've like looked into their inventory and found out they had like 5 golden crowns on their head, and they were just weighed down by the pure weight of gold, which is really funny. I love that dwarves all have their little personalities. I think, can we make a ring? Those are pretty important, right? So these are the things I'm gonna make with them. 15, 15, 15 again. Dwarves have their own personalities, and some dwarves are like kind of aesthetic, where they're just not super interested in looking cool, and some dwarves are like really vain and they love putting on as much like beautiful clothing and as much um, jewelry as possible, and it's really funny. I think it's super funny. Uh, Also, another thing to do is that one day I think it would be, maybe I'll do this just like any dwarf that's bored. I think it's gonna be important to start to uh, smooth out some of these little bedrooms. Okay, that's for the most part pretty done. Um, Dwarves, I've said this before, but dwarves in Dwarf Fortress are very easy to take care of. They really only need a few things to be happy, but you can still give them tons of stuff. You can give children toys. You can give dwarves jewelry and nice clothing. You can give them food and nice bedrooms, a variety of food and drink. You can give them uh, people uh, to visit the tavern. They'll have people to talk to. You can give them temples to pray at and guilds to be a part of. There's a lot of ways to add um, a lot of happiness to your dwarves, and I think it's kind of important to not forget about those things. Just because you don't necessarily need them doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. I'm saying that because there's a lot of things that can happen in this game that are really, really bad. And dwarves can get pretty messed up, like mentally, from sieges and monster attacks and loved ones passing away. Uh, and so if they have different ways to obtain happiness, then um, that's great, and they'll have a higher chance of recovering. Um, I'm noticing this place is filling up quickly with tables, so maybe we should start laying out the tavern. What is this? Okay. As in locum. That's my dwarven mountain home. Hmm. Trying to think about how I want this place to look. You don't want to fill this place entirely with tables. I'm gonna do it up to this point. You do not want to fill this whole place up with with tables, only because you want some room for people to dance, because dancing in this game is really cool. Like, it's all procedurally generated, and so the dwarves will do different things. But I've seen dwarves like gather in a circle and dance in like in a circle, or do various different things. And it's really cool to see how the each culture like imparts its own kind of creative expression. I think it's interesting. But let's deal with these boys, because I asked for cages, and maybe just maybe they um will will bring me what I want. I'm asking for leather, just random leather, and they're asking for blocks. Wow. Okay, blocks is that's really great. That's easy to sell. I can sell blocks. I don't know if I'm gonna get a ton of profit from it, even if with the premium, but still. Uh, okay, let's look at what they got. I like to let's just have the broker come over here and just take a look.
I like to check
They
all the
brought
cages.
cages, and they brought, oh my, are you kidding me? They're like, what? This is what you asked for. Why are you looking disappointed? Um, Maybe I'm wrong. I could have sworn that. Why did they only bring? Is this it? Is this actually it? Troglodyte. Uh, I can't believe that this is all they brought. Oh my god, what is wrong with these guys? They brought so many. Okay, well, oh my god, I'm just gonna give them a gift. I don't even want these. They in the past versions of Dwarf Fortress, um, I have encountered like the ability to, you could just sell, um or ask for cages, and they would give you cages, and then those cages would typically be cool. But they literally just gave me the lamest shit ever. Just a bunch of empty cages and only like fucking 10 of them. Okay, let's trade. Uh, I I guess I could buy a couple tin and lead and copper cages. Some, cheap shit, zinc, copper. I guess I'll just have some cages. I can make cage traps, which are really great to defend your fortress. I'm gonna give them like a bunch of shit, just so that they're really happy, and then they send more dwarves my way. Plus, I can get rid of some of these like less cool cuts, because as you can see, oval cut aquamarine are many times greater than these guys. So sell all this stuff. Can't believe they. I cannot believe that they brought this. Fools. Offer as a gift. Let's just trade. Seems very pleased. There you go. No trader requested. Let's take a look at this troglodyte. Where is he? They are in the cavern. Interesting. Okay. Um. Well, I don't like that they're in my cavern. I don't appreciate it at all. Oh, there's a nice little spot there. Little monster could slide into that. Uh, I don't like that these guys think that they can actually hang out in my fortress. in my cavern, I mean to say. So I'm gonna have to like probably deal with these guys because this is just unacceptable behavior on their part. And it's definitely not me who's the invader. It's them. Okay, it's done. I don't know if the troglodytes are still there. They are. Nice. Um, okay, cool. So these troglodytes, they're in my cavern, and that really upsets me. I don't appreciate that, and I don't want them here. So we're going to forcibly remove them. And I'm going to tell my miners to mine from this mine shaft, which ultimately connects to this tunnel, which then ultimately connects to the main mine shaft. I'm going to tell them to punch into this cavern, but hopefully before they do that, I'm going to send my military. And this is the first time I've utilized my military that, is in a way that isn't just scheduling them to work and sit in a room and train. So what I'm going to do is check them, and then I'm going to press this move icon. And I guess I could just talk really quickly about this. This is an assignment to kill. You can read all of them in the top right, but assignment to kill, so you can just click on the enemy and tell your guys to kill. You can tell them to move, patrol between these certain points, and also burrow them. So go to a burrow, which we haven't talked about burrows yet. We'll talk about burrows when the siege happens. And then this is obviously, you can tell them to do a special order of train. This cancels this order, and this button right here is a terrifying button. I don't know if they added a confirmation box, but you click this and it will just completely dismantle your squad. So we don't want to do that. I'm going to tell my boys to go and move right here. And then I'm going to watch. It looks like one of them is eating. Here, this guy is going down here. And boys, the soldiers are going down here. They're gonna go and station at this spot. Looks like, was it Attis? Was it Attis? No, it is Vabok, who's got a flashing name. Oh, baby. Legendary miner. Flashing name means something's important about them. It could be they've built something, or that they're like really good at something. And as you can see, legendary miner. That's very impressive. Okay, boom. So our boys have. Oh, this child is. The bomb wreck has brought their 0-year-old child to potentially a great battle. Hopefully, there's no other things. So just because I can see these guys doesn't mean there isn't other things that are hidden. But that's the adventurous part of this game. You have to work and operate with not complete knowledge. I'm gonna wait for my boys to get there, and maybe, just maybe, so everyone is sitting here. Well, mostly everyone. I think my commander. Okay, my commander's there. I very much want him there. Okay, so I was kind of hoping that these guys would path into my fortress now that they realize there's an opening there, but it doesn't appear that they're gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is select them again, and I'm going to click this confirmation, and there's two options. You can select an individual target with this, or you can select a group with this button. And so what I'm going to do is just select a group, and these are a kill order, and I'm telling my boys to go and kill these troglodytes. And troglodytes are like, I'll read a little bit before I absolutely demolish them. Get me out of here. Okay, troglodytes are I think it's in health description. A savage man-like cave creature. So they're just kind of like think of Gollum from the Lord of the Rings. That's kind of like a troglodyte. I'm telling them to kill these guys. Before I let them loose, one thing to note in this game is this is not an RTS. It's not like Age of Empires where you can tell your guys to like fall back. Um, it is almost impossible to disengage. In fact, I don't really think it is possible. But once you tell your dwarves to do something, you have no control over them. And much like how you don't have control over them in many aspects of this game, you especially don't have control over them in combat. So you want to make really good decisions in like a charge, because that charge is not going to ever you're not ever going to be able to like rescind that charge. So anyways, I'm telling my boys, so they're gonna pour out of here, I think. They're gonna pour out of here. They're gonna sprint up here, and they're gonna go and fight. So here we go. Boom. And I'm gonna play this really slowly. Oh, the little boy is here, and the boy is probably horrified. Baga. That's Traga actually. Boom. So it looks like the troglodyte was slaughtered, and it looks like these guys are fleeing, overcome by terror. So terrified, overcome by terror. They're horrified what I'm doing. And there's blood and viscera everywhere, and dead troglodytes, foots and feet and teeth, and all kinds of horrible things. And now it looks like it looks like oh, it looks like our boys. So again, I have limited control. I'm kind of viewing this from a little bit above. This is like the ground level. This is another ground level. This is like a slope going this way, as you can see. It's sloping. Um, it's really hard. Caverns are really notoriously unreadable. But they're basically like fighting in these really tight areas. And yeah. Also, I gave them a kill order, and they are doing it in their own way. It looks like this guy's kind of on his own. Iton. Ah, yes, Iton. Proficient swords dwarf. So I have no doubt in my mind that Iton will have no issue with slaying this troglodyte. It seems like Iton has the scent. Oh wait, she's waiting. She doesn't know quite. Oh, maybe did she get a glance? No, she did not get a glance. So my guys are a little spread out. Okay, boom. Okay, so interesting. So it looks like Iton cut off its lower leg. Let's go read that. Combat log. Iton. I don't like how the game does this. It only... Okay, it does actually use their name. It looks like, yeah, slaps the troglodyte with the left hand, the flat of her, in the left hand with the flat of her iron short sword. Injured part explodes into gore. So she hit it, basically just slapped him with the blade, and it blew up his hand. And then the force pulled his wrist back and tore some muscles. And then she slashed the troglodyte in the lower arm with her iron short sword, and severed parts sails off in an arc. And Iton slashes the troglodyte in the right upper leg, which is we saw that leg. The leg is like right there, upper right. You can read it there. Uh, the right upper leg, and the severed part sails off in an arc. So Iton's chopping this guy up. He's heavily bleeding, and if you go to his health, you can see that his right upper leg is gone, and her right lower arm is gone. And a bunch of other terrible things are happening. I almost feel bad for these guys. Iton, I think, is currently fighting this guy. And this guy climbed, even though he's hemorrhaging and terrified, he's climbed up to the top of this tower cap. And, oh my god, that was... Oh my. So Iton also climbed up. It looks like this guy's fleeing again, and he got caught by Edsel and her baby Short Hash. And boom. He got knocked out and killed. It's very fast. Oh, this is really gruesome. Looks like Datan is also fighting the troglodyte. And I think you can... Okay, so you can press the period button, and it moves everything by a single turn. And so that guy's entrails were cut out. So we could look at Datan's. And Datan. And it looks like... it looks kind of like he cut open this his entrails, but we don't need to worry about that. What is... Oh yeah, tearing the guts. Yeah. And then he says, "How fragile we are. This doesn't scare me." So he's like a very... It seems like he's doing well in battle. I did not realize my dwarves were actually really talented. Like, adequate hammer dwarf is pretty decent. Novice hammer dwarf, proficient, which is incredible. Proficient, which is all... Datan is somehow proficient. It seems like my dwarves are doing fantastic, and it looks like my Zas did not really take part in this fight very much. Military kills. No, he didn't kill anyone. I think Gadatan killed someone. No, two troglodytes and one troglodyte. So he killed two. The reason why it's split like that is because he killed two males and one female. So basically, I just like am the bad guy in this scenario. They're all retreating now that their special orders have been executed, and now these guys are just gonna rot. I feel a little bit bad. They're kind of honestly a peaceful little village of troglodytes, and admittedly, troglodytes aren't all that bad. I'm gonna block this off. Right. They're not too aggressive though. Troglodytes absolutely can hurt your dwarves. But I don't see any harm in giving my guys some light training, some live training, not light. But we won. We were victorious, and as far as I can tell, we didn't gain any wounds. Nice. Ducklings have hatched. Okay, so look at, I have 1,000,000 ducklings now, and that's because that's a shame. It's because I was letting the ducks hatch. I'm gonna actually forbid these from hatching again, so we got another group of ducklings coming. And I will probably start slaughtering some ducklings, not ducklings, but ducks, for food eventually, which is probably not good if you're a vegetarian, but great if you are like me. I'm waiting for them to seal this up. Oh. You grab more item in the stockpile. Why are you doing that? You are grabbing a piece of their lower right leg and taking it to the stockpile? Two? Okay, I don't like this. How about you guys don't come through here? I'm trying to tell these guys to stop entering the cavern and picking up body parts. The dwarves are weird. Alright, so one of the things to note is it seems like everyone has come out of this unscathed, though physically unscathed, I mean to say. But unfortunately, these children, and I did kind of, warn them. It seems like the children have developed some trauma. Was horrified after reliving seeing a troglodyte die. So their parents brought them into battle, which is ridiculous, and gave the children some PTSD. So there you go, I guess. That's bad. I don't like that, but it is. It looks like the tavern is for the most part done. Why are we not building barrels? Are we building barrels? Not like barrels. Do we not like barrels? We got tons of barrels, and yet no one wants. So taverns are kind of an interesting thing in this game. You can make them as complicated as you want or as uncomplicated as you want. You can add bedrooms to a tavern and people can stay the night. You can serve certain things, drinks, certain whatever. Or what you can do is make a pretty simple one. And so what I like to do is make a simple one, and maybe eventually I'll make a more complicated one, but this is what is going to happen. So it's a zone, and I think it's a meeting zone. Pretty sure it's a meeting zone. Yeah. Tavern. So you just designate a zone like you do anything else. I'm going to call it tavern. And then I'm going to press the sign, and I'm going to click in/tavern. And it's the Sugars of Channeling, which I'm not super big on that name, but the Future Hammer. Love that. It's interesting. And so this is a tavern now. It's not a particularly impressive tavern. It's a room that's smoothed out with a bunch of rocks and a few tables. But fear not, for it will one day be impressive, and many dwarves, and many goblins, and many elves, and many humans, and many in-between creatures like worm people will likely visit. And you can change that if I only wanted citizens in the tavern, but I want to allow everyone in. And then um, you can assign a dwarf to be the tavern keeper, and they'll take care of dwarves. But I'm actually kind of all right. Don't really need to do that. I'm gonna make. Oh, they changed the art of the coffer. So why does this coffer look so weird? Doesn't. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is a few things. So dwarves get a little annoyed. Let's see if I can right here. It says was annoyed. So Tun Amcol, who's my manager, is annoyed because he had to drink without a mug. So we don't want them to be annoyed for something as small as that. So what I'm gonna make is some silver goblets. Because come on, that's like so cool. And I'm gonna make 50 of them. And then I'm going to my metalsmith Kumo, who's also my broker, will eventually make, and they're in the process of making silver toys, amulets, and earrings, but they're going to make um, some goblets eventually out of silver. And then you can click on this tavern, and you can click right here, and as you can say desired goblets, and I'll make 100 desired goblets. And so any goblet, and maybe 20 desired instruments, any goblets or instruments stored in any of these stockpiles will be grabbed, and this tavern will take priority. And so up to 100 and up to 20. So once this tavern reaches 100 goblets, it will no longer take from the stockpiles, and once this tavern gets 20 instruments, it will no longer take um, instruments.
Anir, al nicht, amid,
everyone. I did a little bit of time travel. I skipped a few things. As you can see, there's definitely some new stuff. Uh, I only skipped it because it took me a little bit of time. It took me like 20 minutes to remember how to build a minecart and set up like a whole minecart route. But I did. I built a minecart. You don't have to build minecarts. In fact, for a great many years when I was playing this game, when I was first playing this game, I did not know even I didn't know how to make minecarts, and I actually kind of learned how to make minecarts recently, as in within the last few years. Um, but I built a minecart route, and um, let's actually see if someone moves this minecart. I don't know how to. Oh, there it is, right there. So I'm gonna watch it. Looks like someone's gonna take it back. But what happens is this minecart is actually a food minecart, and it gets the dwarves will fill it up with food, and then once it's filled up with food, so like this minecart takes from this stockpile, and once it's filled up with food, a dwarf will come over and kick it, and and that minecart will go sailing down this mine track and eventually hit the stop and then dump all of its items to the right of it. It is totally over engineered, and definitely no dwarf or dog or cat or dwarven child will ever get in the way of it, and definitely there will be no injuries. This is a totally safe thing. I can't imagine anything bad happening. I really hope not. Um, but also I added a kitchen. As you can, oh great, I hear war. Stray dog. Stray dog. Oh, it looks like the stray dog. Oh, Attis. Was Attis fighting? No, Attis was just witnessing it. She didn't feel anything after seeing a badger sow die. Attis, that's a little cold. Anyways, the the badgers have been fighting a war outside, as you can see in the combat log. There's a lot going on. There was a few things that you guys missed, but for the most part, I just skipped kind of mundane stuff. Maybe I'll montage it. Maybe I'll just skip it. I don't know. But what you missed, I wrote them down. So the super dancer got in a fight with a badger, and he actually got a little wounded. I don't think he's in a bad position. I think he's just bruised. But maybe his dancing ended up saving him. Who knows? I'm trying to find where. There he is, super dancer. If I go to his health, his history, yeah, it looks like he's fine. So either that or he just hasn't been diagnosed. Um, super dancer was attacked by a badger. These badgers are kind of being a pain in the ass right now, though it looks like they are gone. Visitors. So we had a traveling troupe of dancers of visit. This is just one of them. The others disappeared like almost immediately. They just like came to my tavern and left. But we will get many more, so it's not like you guys missed anything. Something to note though, this dwarf is like totally nude. So she's like a dwarven dancer that's like actually insanely good at dancing. But she's naked, so she's kind of like a stripper, I guess. I built the mine track. As you can see, it's a food mine track, and definitely no dwarf will get in the way of the minecart speeding down this track and die. And then this isn't very important, but I thought it was really funny. Um, there was a dwar- there was a troll who was rock climbing, I think. It says the troll's upper body takes the full force of the impact and the part splits into gore. So that sounds horrible, and it is horrible. But the troll was presumably like climbing up on the rocks, or either that or they were on the tree. Though if they were on the tree, it wouldn't be that far of a fall. But they must have been climbing along the rocks, and they fell and exploded. So there you go. And then also another thing is, and I only just started it, but I'm making dolomite blocks. And the reason being is I want to start making a little bit above, like I want to make an above ground um, fortress defense kind of thing, so that the guys that the goblins or the whoever decides to declare war on me, um, they won't easily take my fortress. So I'm working on that. My dwarves are really super incredibly busy, and and they have so much work cut out for them. Like they still have to smooth this place. They still gotta. Some of them are cooking meals, like preparing fine meals, which is these things. Oh, it looks like this thing was. I don't think it's loaded. Doesn't matter. People are making. Oh my God, is that okay? Yeah, they're working, and then the military dwarves. This is Edsel, who's one of the military dwarves. She. Hmm, interesting. Has a history of killing goblins and elves. It's really funny. Anyways, um, I was so kind of I was struggling with work, getting dwarves to do jobs that I actually took my military off duty and made them off duty. So they're no longer constantly training. I'll probably put them on eventually, but they are. I need them to work, and so they're working. I'm trying to get this thing done, and once it's done, I'll be a little bit more happy. And yeah. All right, I'm back. I made a little bit of a new design for the office area. I think that with how bad my stockpile situation is, I'm adding a new stockpile area, and hopefully that will help alleviate um, certain things about my fortress. So and I think I'm gonna put a furniture stockpile because furniture doesn't stack like at all. Like look how unbelievably fucked my stockpile is. So that's gonna need to change. I'm also gonna put a few more tables I think up here. Um, and I don't want to put too many more, only because you still want places for the dwarves to dance, like I mentioned. I need to get used to doing this. Um, Something to note though is, and you can see if you click on the tavern, you can actually see the dancing room. So it's a 12 by 11. I think it's not registering this yet, so that's probably gonna change. I think it might have changed just now. It is now still a 12 by 11. It's this area I'm thinking, and they're pretty much in squares or rectangles, and so you need to make sure that like not like it's gonna measure I think off of this like this 1 11 12 13 so 12 and it's excluding this corner because this is not a square. Yeah, so it's like this area is what I think what it's tracking on 11 by 12. um, and I could probably make a dance floor down here where the dwarves and the visitors will have to go run across this track, which will definitely wait for them and not obliterate anyone who crosses. I'm trying to foreshadow the a quite possible reality where oh, the cat was running down the track. There's a potential possibility that something bad happens. It looks like someone is going to interact with this. Looks like maybe someone's going to interact. So this thing gets either, when it's loaded, it will get kicked down, or if it is, yeah, he's going to push tracked vehicle. So he's actually kicking this thing. This is a great trying to show you what happens. This thing either gets filled up and pushed down, or every 10 days it gets pushed down automatically. And I say pushed, and I actually mean is kicked at full speed, and it will fly down this rail. So boom, and hopefully nothing gets in the way of it. Because if they do, it's gonna hurt. I want to do one more thing down here, and then I'll probably skip some time again. But I think maybe I'll make the right side guilds, and I'll make the left side temples, because I want to make a temple. I saw a couple dwarves complaining about how they didn't, couldn't pray to their god, and so I'm going to try to fix that one. And I know I'm making these like the weirdest things ever, but it keeps things interesting. This looks pretty weird. This looks extremely weird. Maybe I won't do this little nook. But you can see like some of the dwarves, they'll be a little unhappy. So this guy's like kind of unhappy for many reasons. He wants to eat a good meal, which he's eating just a huge thing of water buffalo cheese. I was kind of hoping he would go or she would go and eat all these delicious meals I've been making. Prepared badger lung stew and blackberry stew. I mean, I guess I can relate with wanting to eat like just a wheel of cheese. I sometimes will do that, where I'll go to my refrigerator and just eat cheese. It does satisfy an itch sometimes. But these guys are making the meals, as you can see: apple stew, potato plant stew, clownfish stew. We found Nemo, and yeah. So, oh, one more thing. I also forgot to mention this. We had a Fey mood. So Zaneg was taken by Fey mood and built Dolomite, an artifact Dolomite rack, and he's claimed it as his family heirloom. And if you press Shift O, or you just click on this objects menu, it will show you all the important objects inside of the fort. And there you go. But this was the bite last, which is Zaneg's heirloom, is right. There it is. Anyways, this thing is a dolomite weapon rack. All crafts dwarfs is of the highest quality. Is encircled with bands of cushion rock, salt, cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of dolomite and silver. So dwarves will make certain things. And the thing about Fey moods or possessions, there's like there's a variety of it, but the game will give you this indication, and then you'll get this big loud noise. You want to help the dwarf make the artifact, because if you don't help them make the artifact, they will go on a rampage, and they will go and either kill someone or kill themselves potentially. Also, Bear, Bear S Matspo, M Smatspo, this guy. Oh my god, why did it do that? A panda? Oh my god, we have pandas? We have grizzly bears, pandas, emus, badgers. We got everything. Call of the Wild over here. That's really cool. Panda. Well, I will 1000% capture a panda one day. But anyways, we have a visitor, and he's a goblin. This is the first goblin to ever visit my fortress, and he's actually a peaceful one, and he's telling a story. And it doesn't really appear that anyone is around him telling this story, but there are dogs, and they immediately run away because I guess he's a really bad storyteller. Oh my god, that is so funny. He Dude, he just started telling a story. The dogs all immediately left. Anyways, he's a peaceful goblin. Not all goblins are bad. Um, but yeah, he's enjoying it. He's feeling good. And visitors are cool. Your dwarves will talk to them. You might get reoccurring visitors. That's a really cool thing to see. You'll get kind of like you might like recognize them. There was like there's a few dwarves in the past, dwarven visitors in the past that I've encountered where I kind of like was on a first name basis with them. Sometimes the visitors will want to join. You'll get a petition. It will say they wish to join your fortress. I would be selective with. Oh, there's the minecart again. I'd be selective with who you let into your fortress. Not to say that like it's bad to let everyone into the fortress, only that some of them are kind of useless. You might have like better you might have better luck letting on this person's. Oh, they're dancing. Look at these two are dancing. You might have better luck just letting the dwarves from your mountain home in, performing a dance. Look at these two. They're dancing with each other. And now it's over. And now he's just socializing. He's like screaming across the room. Um, but I love taverns. This is the beauty of taverns. You get all kinds of weird, fun things that happen. Um, but yeah, again, I'm just kind of mostly waiting for some of these dolomite blocks to be built. But I'm gonna start moving a few things. So I'm gonna move my trading depot across the road so that it doesn't get in my way. We're gonna just do rock salt blocks, and then I'm not gonna destroy that just in case some traders come. And then I'm also gonna move this carpenter's workshop because I I should probably just move it inside. I don't really need the carpenter to be outside anymore. I have room now. Um, I don't know where to put it. I'm just gonna put it right here for now, and then I'll move it eventually again. But they're breaking this apart. And then hopefully they'll build, someone will build this. Again, my dwarves are, that's why I'm skipping so much. My dwarves are just spread thin. And I really don't know why no one's coming to my fortress. I've been doing quite a bit to try to impress anyone, entice people to come to my fortress, but it just doesn't really seem like it's working. So surely this will be the year that things change. What is happening? Okay, so the elves are arriving, so they're gonna go to this one. Hopefully the elves have something really cool. That'd be badass. I'm not trying to show you guys everything. Oh my god, you know, it'd be really cool if we did rock floors and dolomite walls. Blocks. Let's make some rock salt. I like the color of rock salt. I think rock salt actually looks badass. Let's do actually like 1,000 as well. And blocks, making stuff, rock salt blocks. Making rock blocks is a really good way to clean up your fortress. So if you're like annoyed by these blocks, you can dump them into a certain area, but it doesn't always work very well. But you can also just turn them into rock blocks, and those will clean up your fortress pretty good. Let's get my broker down here, and I want to see what they got. They have some musical instruments, which is fantastic for my fort. And then they have, what do we have here? They got grizzly bears, kangaroos, mountain goats, skunks, a green tree frog, a hyena, and a Gila monster. What the fuck is a Gila monster?
Gila.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna almost certainly buy every single thing they have. It's something to be something I think to note though is these are stray grizzly bears. or these are stray animals. I don't think you would have to go to the wiki. There are certain animals that cannot be tamed, but I think that for the most part, that things that the elves trade to you are gonna be um, like tame. So that's great. We're going to actually move some silver amulets. So I don't know where that is. So I'm just gonna what I'm gonna do is just like a really ghetto way of doing this, but I don't know where these things are located, but I am just gonna simply trade individual silver amulets. I'm not gonna trade them all actually. I want some of my dwarves to wear them. I'll trade some gems. Some gems right here, and some gems, and then maybe a silver rings, nice. And maybe I had crowns, if I remember correctly. I just wish I knew where. Oh, right there. All right, we'll just move this whole thing over, and that should be probably enough to trade with for some of these animals. Um, broker requested. She's gonna trade. I'm gonna wait for the last item. It looks like Kimmel is dizzy, which means she's probably drunk. So that surely means that I'm gonna get a great deal. She's a high-functioning alcoholic. Okay, so we got Udib delivering the last item, and my broker's actually getting another drink. Speaking of high-functioning alcoholic, uh, whenever she's done drinking, we can trade. Okay, so let us trade. I'm gonna buy all of their instruments, and then I'm gonna buy the skunk because skunks are cool. The mountain goat because mountain goats are cool. Kangaroo, that is so cool. Grizzly bear, which is 1,000, that makes sense. A hyena, $60, and then this monster thing, Gila
Gila
monster. I'm gonna have to look that
monster.
up. I don't actually know what that is, but I'm purchasing it because it is a creature, and I don't have it. There's some bins, some bracelets. We're gonna buy some of their food. They got an altar. That's cool. But that's all I'm gonna buy. And then I'm going to sell them anything that is cut. So, and these are all kind of like whatever cuts. Aquamarine, that's pretty cool. Let me sell them some amulets real quick. Look at that. I already got a good deal. The elves are not greedy. I'm gonna give them maybe a little bit better of a deal. Maybe I'll give them one extra 1,000 just to really cement our relationship. So I'm gonna trade that, and then I'm going to release all of these animals into the fortress. And before I do that, I will say, um, I'm going to make an animal training zone like right here temporarily, right here. I don't temp animal training area. I can't type. Okay, that's it. Training. Temp animal training. This training area is going to be. I'm not sure if I need this, but certain animals will become kind of feral, and then the last thing I want to do is have a grizzly bear kind of go rogue in my fortress. So we're going to do our best to prevent that from happening. If I want to release the creatures, there's a couple ways to do it. I'll do the easiest way. There's a much easier way to do it. If I go to the, I'm gonna make a pen slash pasture. I'm gonna put a pen slash pasture right there, and then what I'm gonna do is assign the animals that are caged to this pen slash pasture. So the dwarves will pull out. Oh my God! Look at all these things. And they're all stray. You want to make sure they're all stray. Oh, this is like a little like a salamander. Anyways, you can make a pen/pasture and then check them and tell them basically that they belong in this area, and the dwarves will pull them out and throw them into this. And then once all the creatures are there, we will release the pen and they can just wander. Now that all of the creatures are here, I'm pretty sure we got, let me look. We got the grizzly bear, the Gila monster, the Gila monster,
Gila.
whatever. The mountain goat, I see it. The skunk, I see it. The hyena, I saw it. The kangaroo, right there. So now you can just go click on this, delete it, and now they are free. Just casually a grizzly bear sitting in the tavern, hanging out with the goblins and the hyenas. Also, these are like really terrifying monsters, but that's super cool. But yeah, that's all I needed to buy from them. Again, I like the elves. They're pretty badass. All right, this is about damn time. Um, I was I was watching the new goblins in my tavern enjoy their time with a grizzly bear and a hyena, but now we have some migrants arriving, which is phenomenal. I'm so happy. Finally, my hard work has paid off. Fulltown is on the map, and people are uh, are super intrigued. And you know what? The beauty of it is this is going to be a huge migrant wave. I can just feel it. This is going to be like there's going to be like 30 guys right here, and I'm going to take Fulltown's population up to like 56 or something like that. Some crazy number. Um, okay, let's see who we got. Okay, 2 children so far. Children are not the greatest. Only, oh, this kid has a beard, so he's like kind of a dwarf, like a full-fledged dwarf. His father is actually in this area. It looks like his father is in my fortress. His father is dat. Oh wait, his father has not arrived yet, but his father I think is coming. Okay. And then this is also, presumably this is a, yeah, these are a brother and a sister. So that's cool. Welcome to the fort. There's another child, 16-year-old. So there'll be an adult soon, and I could probably stick them in the military. Perfectionist, agile, not envious, great affinity for language, good creativity. Um, it's a little fucked up making a child a part of the military, but you know what? A soldier, um, good, probably. Okay. I'm done with the children. Please, no more children, and I would like some adults. 17. So this dwarf is really close to being an adult, and she is frustratingly sloppy and careless with every task she sets to carry out. Man, I feel that. Okay. Cool. Litast, litast, litast. Vengeful. Disdains power, so probably not a good soldier. You'll probably just be a farmer. More children. Okay, all right, I'm done with the children. Please, no more children. When I said bring my population up to 56, I didn't mean 56 children. I meant like actual dwarves that could do stuff besides uh, complain. Thoughtless. Okay. Okay, dude, this is getting out of control. Stop giving me children. Is this are these? Oh my God, there's so many children. Value sacrifice. She's 14. Values harmony. You're not gonna like You're not gonna value harmony after what you're about to see. Oh my God, more children. This is. I don't understand. I feel like I'm being punished. I feel like I'm being punished. I deserve. I deserve adults. Loner disdains humor. Harmony, excuse me. Humorless. Well, I guess they also disdain humor. Really sad. Grouchy after getting caught in a snowstorm. So they're arriving during a snowstorm. Not anxious. Ooh, this little Ishir. Let's call him Usher, so I actually don't fuck his name up anymore. And he actually has Doren, a bunny, which is right here. This is Doren. Cool. Little bunny. Oh, finally, the adults showed up. This is Tozdid. Values tradition, disdains cunning, anxious, poor analytical ability, good memory, high kinesthetic sense. Very cool. Not a whole lot of skills. They're like a herbalist, which is basically like picking plants off the ground. We could always use a herbalist, but this person looks pretty decent for a soldier position. Nice. Solon. This is a Mark's dwarf. This is actually kind of a cool dwarf. Values hard work, anger prone, patient, gregarious, values sacrifice. I'm gonna probably make this. I'm gonna eventually start kind of building a military squad that kind of focuses on range, like using crossbows. Because in the new update they improved rangers, so that's cool. Values harmony, disdains, blah blah blah, whatever. Get out of here. Don't care. Sarvesh, greedy, slow to hate. Actually has some skill in fighting. Welcome to the core, son. What about you, Cog? Oh, Cog was the father of the children, the first children to arrive. I recognize him. Well, maybe. I don't know. Doesn't matter. I think this actually is a different guy, but it doesn't matter. Frail values tranquility. Get out of here. What about you? Vabok. Hateful. Easily stressed. Well, maybe. Adequate fisher dwarf. Maybe that stress will be alleviated when she gets wounded in battle and then gets an opioid addiction. So, Datan, values self-control, tough, disdains tranquility, stubborn, curious, high kinesthetic sense. Excellent, excellent. We like these dwarves. Animal trainer. We actually could use an animal trainer now that we have like bears and hyenas and kangaroos. Quick to give up, disdains competition. So not a fighter, but a, oh my god, 45 population. Polite, good focus, flash in name. So what are we? Legendary musician. Oh baby. Okay. This guy would be pretty legit to have in my tavern. Maybe as like a permanent entertainer. But we will see. I will write I will somehow indicate. I'll say mute. Let's just indicate to my future self that this person can do music. Caretaker. So more caretakers. Values martial prowess. Values stoicism. Trusting, hopeful, private, bad with words. I am some of those things. Hello. Welcome to the fort, soldier. Okay. Ass. Ace. Good spatial sense, good focus, disdains loner, disdains introspection, swords the dwarf, and sloppy. She prefers to be alone. She is sloppy with her living space. She is quite polite. Well, you're not going to be polite after dealing with goblins for the rest of your life. Animal trainer, disdains competition, good analytical abilities, blah 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 blah. No skills, whatever. It's not a bad idea to have guys like this where they're kind of like not skilled in anything. Having like handyman dwarves that can just do a bunch of things is pretty excellent. Imish, tough, musical, inclined to abstract, clumsy, gracious, unswayed by emotions. She's a fish cleaner. She's asking great questions like, "Where is Atu? I cannot give in to sadness." Burn demon. Wait, that's a person? Is that a relationship with? Do you have a? Do you have a? It's a sweet name. Burn demon. I would love if my last name was Burn demon. A skilled warrior is a beautiful sight to behold. Well, do you want to be a soldier? I guess I guess. I guess. Oh, flashy name. Oh, what are we looking at here? Legendary speaker, proficient teacher, legendary poet. Oh my god, this guy's so cool. Poet and music? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Speaker, poet. We're just gonna say poet. These guys could be used in my tavern as entertainers. High stamina, values nature, disdains advice, values power. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Just join the army already. VV good. We're gonna make this guy like really good. We really want him. Not lustful, high stamina, poor social awareness, bad with words, blah blah blah. Just join. Oh my God, I'm at 53, dude. It's finally happening. And dabbling. Flatterer, resilient, leisurely, 34. Huge fucking unibrow. That's badass. Oh hell yeah. A child. What is that child's name? Bim. Welcome, Bim. Udib, another Udib. Don't care. Look at that, 54. Honestly, I was pretty close. I was saying it in kind of a facetious way. I was just playing that I was expecting a lot of new dwarves, but I actually did get a ton of new dwarves. That's so cool. Yeah, I got moments before migrants came. The kobolds returned. I may deal with them one day. Goblin mercenaries visiting. Oh, so mercenaries are cool because mercenaries, you can actually hire them to do stuff, and there'll be sometimes. Actually, no, it's not necessarily mercenaries. It's monster hunters, and monster hunters will join, and they'll want to go down into the dungeons and go kill things, which is cool. And lots of creatures are being born. Um, I really, uh, I really need to get a better spot for my animals because they're starting to get really cluttered. I don't know why they're all oh, that's why they're conglomerating because their area is tiny. Why don't we give them a little bit more room so they spread out and stop like clustering around the staircase? Because anyone that tries to walk through this area gets like knocked around like a ping pong ball. Um, let's also add all of the ducklings. A little annoying, but when animals are born, they don't get auto assigned to the pasture. I'm also doing a few things. So Doren, who is the child's, I forget what child, the child's name, but the child had a bunny called Doren, and the problem with Doren is the problem is the pet will want to hang out with the dwarf that owns them, which is great. because that gives them a lot of happiness. But the problem with it is Doren is a bunny, and right here it says grazer requires pasture. Um, this bunny needs to eat, and if the bunny is following the little child everywhere in the fortress, then it will likely not be able to graze and will eventually starve to death. So we don't want the child to lose his little buddy, and so we are throwing the rabbit into the duck pit, which is epic. Another thing I noticed just now is that there is an angry face. And so, for the most part, it looks like my dwarves are pretty happy. We have 32 fairly neutral people, and I attribute that mostly to the fact that many of my new arrivals are kind of coming in uh, with neutral status on their moods. But right here, Moses, I think that's how you say his name, is pissed off, and it makes sense if it will make sense to you in a second, because look who Moses's mother is. It's Bomrek, the fighter. And if you look at Moses, you can understand why he's sad, because he is still suffering from PTSD from watching the battle that happened down in the caverns. The first battle that my dwarves had fought down here. So not ideal. I would probably recommend not taking your child to battle, but again, I can't control that, so it is up to them. Oh, that's cool. So Azob, well, that is really bad. The were-lizard, Osta Mudobosa, has come, a large lizard twisted into humanoid form. It is crazed for blood and flesh. Its eyes glow red. Its sandy top scales are oval shaped and overlapping. Now you will know why you fear the night. This is really bad. This is extremely bad. I hope this doesn't kill everyone in the fort and the playthrough is over. But I'm going to pause immediately, and then I'm going to go locate where this guy is. So he's the were-lizard, and he is berserking. Oh my, look at that guy. Look at him. He's terrifying. Okay, so he is currently very close to my fortress. So let me give you a quick rundown about were creatures before this were creature kills everything that I hold dear. First things first, were creatures are super insanely dangerous. They are not dangerous necessarily because they have skills that make them dangerous. They are dangerous because they are were creatures, and when a were creature bites another dwarf, let's say, that dwarf could turn into a were creature. So what you want to do is never fight these things, pretty much ever, unless you have to. And sometimes when you fight them, you can win, and no one will get bit or cut up or whatever. But you want to avoid fighting these guys because if they turn, let's say they bite one of your dwarves, and you don't notice that they bit one of your dwarves, well then that dwarf will inevitably turn into a werebeast the next full moon, and then likely be in your fortress and bite other dwarves. And then the cycle will continue until your fortress is filled with bloodthirsty, blood-crazed monster were-lizards. Okay, well, I think I might be alright the more I'm looking at it. I think my animals might be absolutely doomed. So expect a horrible slaughter. Hopefully Doren, the little rabbit that we put out there, isn't one of the victims. He's a little guy. Where is he? There he is, Doren. Hopefully Doren doesn't. Oh, he's like the first. He's like the first animal that this creature is probably gonna see. Doren, run! Oh no, run, Doren, run into the horde of ducks and hide yourself among them. This guy's gonna destroy everything. But what I'm gonna do beforehand is I'm gonna lock these gates. And what I was doing before this was I was looking around the map for any dwarves because once I lock these doors, there is no hope for us, or no hope for anything outside. Also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna muster my military, and I'm going to put them on ready, which means they're going to get their equipment on, but they're not going to be um, really doing anything particular. And I'm going to have them go right here. And what they're going to do is get their equipment on as fast as possible and sprint down here. I'm not sure if this were lizard can uh, break down my hatches. If he can, I might be super dead. But we'll see. Hopefully, also I don't have any holes in the in the ceiling of my growing area, but I guess that's a little surprise. We'll have to see. But right now, let's watch this unfold. Okay. Doren is dead. Doren is dead. Oh my god. Of all the creatures this thing could have killed, it killed the rabbit belonging to the little boy. Which little boy was it? I'll have to go through the footage and figure out who owned that rabbit. That is so sad. What happened? The were lizard is fighting. It just bit him, and then the rabbit pretty much just died. Okay. This is gonna be close your eyes if you don't want to watch 1,000 ducks die. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, he's killing everyone. Stop, stop. Make him stop. He's killing my horses now. Oh, you monster. Oh. Well, I guess the fort lives on. That's the good news. Bad news, I lost some animals. Not all of them, but I lost some of them. And they're all scattered, like, everywhere. Um, what just happened was the moon changed right up here. The moon changed, and he is no longer a were creature. That being said, he is still dangerous, and I think he might still be contagious, but I'm not really sure. What I will do, and this is one thing that you can do, because this guy might return one day. He is he's I'm gonna label him as asshole because he is an asshole, and anytime he comes into my fort, I'll know that if there's a goblin with a title of asshole, he will be a dangerous creature that I cannot let into my fort. So it looks like he is currently fleeing, and I am going to try to get some reprisal on him. And I'm gonna send my military to go kill kill him. I gotta find where he is. Sorry, I lost him. Here he is. And maybe I'll give him a little bit. Where, asshole. So I actually know. I'm gonna tell my boys to go kill this guy. Go kill his ass. Oh, and he's like so fucking out of here. He's like, oh god, get me out of here. And hopefully our military goes and runs and goes, oh. Okay, looks like my military dwarf bomb wreck. So as if this little child Moses isn't already the most unhappy dwarf in my fortress, the dwarf gets to witness her mother beat the crap out of this goblin. It doesn't really seem like Bombrek has gotten hit once. Wow, one sec. I just want to see. I have to pay attention to this because if Bombrek gets hit or bit, it could be pretty bad for me. But I don't think so. They may have to be in the were form for it to matter. But it looks like it kind of looks like Bombrek is just beating the shit out of this guy, and that's great news for me. So let's just continue. I'm pressing period like 1,000 times to slow this down, and then Bombrek is chasing him. The reason, oh, and Bomrak slew him. Good job, Bomrak. You did an excellent job. So Bomrak is quite the accomplished goblin and apparently dwarf slayer too. I don't know why they have killed a dwarf, but they did. This is a dead corpse, so no longer will Osta prey upon any future fortresses, including mine, for Bomrek has slain them. Good job. And I'm then just going to quickly look at the combat log one more time. Bash is the were-asshole, yes. And it looks like the soldier grunt, so this is Bomrek. Bomrek bashes the were-asshole in the head with her iron warhammer, bruising the muscle, jamming the skull through the brain, and tearing the brain. The were-asshole has been knocked unconscious, and it looks like they'll never wake up again. So good job, nice job. Maybe they'll be covered in. Doesn't look like they're even covered in blood, so I think we are safe. I will keep an eye on Bomrek, but I will certainly almost forget her. And now you understand why it's so important to have a military, because then you can deal with guys like that. Okay, we're gonna open the doors to my fortress again now that the emergency has been prevented. Excellent. Okay, I'm back. So, I still got to figure out who Doren, the little rabbit, belonged to, but I felt so bad for the little bunny arriving and getting instantly killed in the most horrible way possible. So I gave the little rabbit a tomb. So now that the little child can at least get some form of closure for the rabbit. So Doren should be brought soon, and then the child will be able to visit his fallen buddy in the tomb, and the little rabbit will no longer be rotting outside. So Doren, there he goes, Keshkalker, um, is now put to rest. And what I did, I guess I could show you real quick. I built this area as kind of as a tomb. I put it in the kind of far away from my fortress. I put it down into the caverns, and I hollowed out this kind of like massive column. And so what you want to do is you want to like, if you want to make coffins, you gotta designate a coffin, and they're rock, or you can make them out of all kinds of different stuff. But I like to do rock since rock is free. So rock coffin, so you make some of those, and then you build them with the furniture option, burial. You click that. I don't have any, but you can do that. And then the last thing you need to do is make a tomb. And what I like to do is paint it. I don't really do multi. If I did a multi on Doren, Doren would get this whole area, and so I want only him to really only have this little tiny spot. And so what I do is I'll just like paint like a 1 by 1, and then any coffin that is inside of that can be used for burial. And then also I selected this option, which is select this option, and any unassigned deceased pets will be buried here automatically. You don't have to bury pets, but obviously it's not a bad idea. So Usher is Doran's owner. And let's see if Usher is. It doesn't really seem like Usher knows that their pet was killed. So that's probably good. Ignorance is bliss and all that. They'll maybe realize that, but at least I gave the creature a little bit of a burial. I'm going to schedule and tell them that they're off duty, because I don't really need my military to. I don't need my military to be ready anymore. And then also we just got a legendary artifact, Lard Akas. This is a rock salt statue. All crafts dwarf is of the highest quality. The item is a masterfully designed image in rock salt by Udib. The artwork relates to the destruction of the way with the people in Fulltown in the mid-autumn of 250. It is encrusted with rectangular rock salt cabochons. I don't remember this event, but it did happen in Fulltown. Destruction of the way with the people in Fulltown. I don't know. Guess I'm a bad. I don't know the lore, so I'm probably not the best person to impress with that. It looks like the tavern is really coming along. It seems like it's very busy. Lots of goblins listening to poetry, listening to poetry, listening to poetry. Who is telling the poetry, actually? Looks like everyone's just listening to poetry. Oh, this guy's reciting the poetry. So he's projecting his voice across the tavern, and everyone is very interested. Oh, this mountain goat is hungry, so I should probably put the mountain goat up in the up here because he's a grazer and he's just gonna starve to death. Oh, kangaroos are also grazers, so unfortunately the kangaroo will not be able to just wander around my fortress. I will have to put them up here. But alas, at least they will get to live. There are a lot of animals. I'm noticing there's a massive amount of animals in my fortress now. And I said last episode that a few of these dogs and cats might have to get taken to the farm, and I stand firmly behind that decision. If my minecart doesn't kill the dogs or cats anytime soon, then I will be forced to. Sucks, but you know that's how it has to go sometimes. My drinks are a little low, so we're gonna fix that. I'm still waiting for the blocks to get finished. 250 is a lot. Let's do 100. It looks like I still have tons of barrels, tons of bins. Nice. So I will continue to. Jeez Louise, look at how much is happening here. I'm going to just keep waiting for these blocks to get made. It doesn't really seem like they're a high priority. What I could do to improve this priority is to make more. Just make more stone workshops. Stone workers workshops. Let's put it one right here. And then one right here. And then maybe one right here. So the more workshops, the more opportunity there is for people to be working on making blocks. Pretty cool. And so I'm just going to keep moving the fortress along, and I will keep making blocks, and hopefully we'll have them soon, and I can make the above ground fortress, because as you've seen, oh my god, the badgers are back, and they're mean. Looks like they want what I got. But anyways, I'm just going to keep making blocks, and I will one day have enough to make a fortress, and once we do that, we'll make it together, and it's going to be badass and super useful, and no were lizards will ever come into my fortress ever again, or near it. But yeah. Alright, I'm back. Oh god, I have this like weird weird ability to just time stuff perfectly. I was gonna say that the dolomite blocks are coming along. I'm also fighting a massive war with these badgers. They have gotten into my fortress, and I had to actually send the military out to go fight them. But now that I have multiple workshops working on blocks, I'm going to start building the above ground fortress. And admittedly, I don't have a ton, so it's just gonna be a little part of it. I might just make like a small little keep, or at least a box, before I end this episode, because this one has gone on a little bit long, and it is showing no signs of slowing down. So I did not mean to do that. It does not show any signs of slowing down. So what I want to do is at least, because I promised I would start the above ground fortress this episode, and so damn it, we're gonna make one. And I'm gonna make the floors out of rock salt and the walls out of dolomite, and I think those two colors will complement each other quite nicely. What did I just do dolomite? Kind of convinced myself that I screwed that up. But rock salt blocks. Use last material rock salt blocks. I like this little mechanic. They just added this in the most recent update. I think it's really cool. But yeah. And also another thing, I don't know if I've said this, but this is like a really nice quality of life thing. If you want to remove constructions really easily, you don't actually have to like go to every single one and click cancel construction. What you can do is just go to the mining pickaxe, and then you can use this remove designation, and voila, look at that, pretty cool. And maybe I'll round out the corners and make this a little tiny little entrance. This is not going to be the entirety of my fortress, but this will certainly be the center of it. Oh, and I don't want these to be made out of rock salt. I want them to be made out of dolomite. So we're going to do dolomite blocks. And then I'm just going to go back to that. And then the humans have just arrived, and I will trade with them. I don't think I'll trade with them while I'm recording, unless they have something really sick. But likely it's just going to be kind of samey, you know, the same stuff that they usually bring. It kind of looks like I'm doing... This looks good. That's a nice start. And then what I will actually do, here's another thing you can do. What I'm going to do is remove actually one of these hatches. And you'll see what I'm going to do in a second. But the humans, I should probably trade with them soon because I don't want to forget about them. Okay, so the hatch that had protected me from the invasion of the were lizard is now removed. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build a staircase that goes a little bit above this. And we'll make it out of rock salt to match the floor. This staircase is going to kind of be connected to the old staircase here, but it will go up into the air one block, which is good because I want to build a roof, and you can't build a roof if you don't have some way for the dwarves to get up there. Look at this guy. This guy's got a massive sword. Wow. Look at that. He's got like a Zweihander. That multi-grasp. Huge sword. This guy, you don't want to mess with this guy. He is a talented swordsman. He's actually very dangerous. That guy's very impressively dangerous. I'll go take a look at what they have off screen, and if they have something funny, you'll see. And if they don't, well then you probably won't. Okay, welcome back. The dwarves are currently working tirelessly on this nice little tower. I'm building a really cool little tower that will be very defensible. Not perfect because it's guarded by doors. One day I'll have gates and all that, but it's good enough for now, at least for the first few sieges. Hopefully, at least for the first few sieges. But I will actually show some of this trade only because the humans brought an ibex and a panda. Like, that is so cool. So I'm definitely buying those things. And then I'm actually going to go buy some of their... I'm going to buy a few of their bags because bags are actually kind of useful. You can make them very easily, especially now that I have... like cloth and stuff. And so maybe next episode I'll make a clothing industry, show you guys how to make some clothing, because as you've seen with some of the dwarves, they're wearing crowns and all kinds of other really cool stuff. The dwarves like new clothing, and they'll wear new clothing. They'll wear like hoods and all kinds of stuff. And also something to note is that depending on the materials, some of their clothing might deteriorate. So it's definitely worth replacing because you don't want your dwarves running around naked. They will be very upset. So we're gonna try to make sure that never happens. I'm just buying their leather and all their other stuff. They like are giving me anvils because I bought 2 anvils last year, so I'm not gonna keep buying anvils. Hagfish, that looks gross, but we're gonna buy it. We're gonna buy some of their plants, some of their other stuff. Really, it's so funny. My farm isn't doing super great. My farm is kind of underperforming, and it's funny because I'm pretty much just subsisting off of like trade, which is cool. I mean, that's fine. Trade is cool. Trade is cool. I'm going to sell some silver stuff. I hope I brought some gems. Good, I did. The gems are really the big expensive things, but we're gonna give them some silver stuff, maybe some silver toys and some bracelets, maybe a few goblets, maybe some silver crowns, some scepters, some more goblets. I'm just trying to appease them, and then that's cool. I think I'm gonna finish it off with some gems. It seems like the gem cutters in my fortress are getting a lot better, so that excites me. I think I'm just gonna give them that deal. Maybe I'll bring it up to a cool flat 2,000, um, and um, and call it good. So we will trade. Boom. Ecstatic. They're super happy that I'm trading with them. They think that I'm the coolest dwarven fortress of the realm, inside the realm of Soul, which is the world that we live in. And yeah, I'm just gonna finish this off, and then the episode will probably be done. So montage this, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, well, the tower is complete. I actually need to add a hatch to it, and then it will be hatches, I guess, to it, and then it will be totally complete. So, I am feeling a lot more defended. Maybe next episode we'll do archery, do some archer stuff, because that can get a little complicated, and it would pretty cool to have some guys up here that could shoot some arrows down. But this is a pretty tall tower. As you can see, the trees next to it are kind of just capping out um, a little above the tower, but more or less the tower is on par with the like these pine trees and these almond trees. So it's pretty high up, which is really cool. It gives a nice view. Maybe I'll put a few watch dogs, like a few dogs up here to just keep a constant lookout to make sure nothing sneaks into my fortress. And then maybe, actually, certainly next episode we will have more blocks, and then we will continue to build a larger above ground fortress. And I was thinking it would be kind of fun to have. Currently, I have some dwarves living, actually, all of my dwarves. And in fact, I just realized I don't have any enough bedrooms for these dwarves. So we will do bedrooms as well. But I was thinking that it would be kind of fun to have some housing up above ground. I think it might be kind of fun. So I think that would be something fun to do. But I think that kind of ends this episode. We did finish the tavern more or less. I think it's going to be always a kind of a work in progress. I wouldn't mind expanding it one day, maybe making the tavern come up to here as well, because right now it's still kind of small. It's not small, but it's kind of small. And then we also fought a war in the caverns, and we slew quite a few peaceful troglodytes, and we gave our children in the process major PTSD. Short Ash is not happy either after reliving seeing a troglodyte die, and reliving seeing the that were creature, the were asshole, was slain. And so this child is like not doing so hot, and I'm sure that those children will grow up to be um, definitely well-adjusted members of my society and not deeply disturbed children. Also, we did some outdoor defenses. It will be also a work in progress, so this is going to continuously go. I want to explore more. We did a little exploration, I suppose, in the caverns, but I would like to have a little bit more, do a little bit more exploration. And then maybe we should probably get a few more nobles in the fortress. Specifically, I would like a bookkeeper, which gives an accurate estimate of what is inside the fortress, as well as good, correct values to the items, so that my trader can have a better understanding of what they're trading. Um, but I think this ends it for now. What a very fun, chaotic episode. One of the things that you're gonna, I think, realize is that as these episodes progress, the chaos will increase, and potentially one day this fortress will fall. But actually, no, it will never fall, because Fulltown will reach 200 dwarves, become the capital of my dwarven civilization, and will live forever, and will not die in any horrible way. I won't definitely dig down into the bottom of the earth and start mining certain things that may draw the attention of certain creatures, but that's for a later episode. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night or morning or whatever, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.